जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा जीरा सिप प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाए जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप
असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MDH
Hello, I'm Belly Thomas and I'm covering the 2026 Kerala elections for NewsX from Thiruvananthapuram.
Hi, my name is Brian Anthony Thomas and I am covering the very 2026 West Bengal elections from the very Cooch Behar seat.
Hi, I am Ranik. I am covering 2026 Bengal election for NewsX from Nandigram.
Hi, I am Anand Singh and I am covering 2026 Kerala elections for NewsX from Wayanad.
Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. My name is Vineet Malhotra. Well, the Union Cabinet has cleared the Women's Reservation Bill, setting the stage for its presentation in Parliament. A move being hailed as a historic push towards gender equality in Indian politics. The bill seeks to reserve 33% of seats in the Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies for women. A long-pending reform aimed at correcting the severe underrepresentation of women in lawmaking bodies. This legislation is significant not just for what it proposes, but for what it represents. For nearly 3 decades, attempts to pass such a bill failed due to political disagreements, making this breakthrough a major consensus moment in Indian democracy. Currently, women make up only around 14% of Lok Sabha members. We're going to talk about this with some notable personalities. But first up, let me also tell you that the gender gap in political participation has been an issue in our country. This bill aims to change that by structurally ensuring women have a stronger voice in decision making at both national and state levels. Why is this a milestone is what we're going to discuss, because it shifts India from symbolic empowerment to institutional representation, potentially transforming governance priorities from health and education to social welfare through greater inclusion of women's perspectives. Folks, in essence, this bill is not just about reservation. It's about redefining power, participation and parity in the world's largest democracy. Joining us on the show at this point in time is Reena Dhaka, fashion designer. Reena, appreciate you being here with us. First up, a very prosaic, a simple question for you. This is obviously a very important step towards equality. It's a very important step, I should say, for inclusivity as well. What do you make of it? This is something which has been done in certain states in the past as well, Odisha for example, but at a national level, India is perhaps one of those very few countries who's taken this very crucial step. Your thoughts on it?
I think I was invited, I'm aware I was invited when this was tabled, when the opening of the new parliament, the reservation of 33% for women. And the fact that this bill has gone through in a matter of a year is a real big breakthrough, because there was a lot of debate and hue and cry that on one hand, while we're talking about finally getting us the 33%, that when is it going to really happen, the timeline for the implementations and the effective reality of it. I would think it's a very big change that we managed to get this through in the current circumstances. And it is high time, because it's not like in India we're lacking with talent, with any kind of education or any kind of bias anymore also in the urban areas or in the educated classes specifically. So we have to have reservation. And why 33%? In my eyes, it should be equal. But let's get 33% at least through. Men and women are meant to be equal, not we're having this kind of vast distinction. That's how families run. That's how unit systems run. That's how homes run. That's how Earth runs. Why 33% only? I mean, that's a wish list, of course. Let's get the 33% through now.
You're quite right. Of course, but I would say it's a step in the door. It's a step in the right direction. It's a momentum that has started. And the fact of the matter is, Reena, that if you look at what used to happen 30, 40 years ago, there were very limited choices when it came to men and women in terms of choosing their profession. I think this will also bring a lot of layered structures and aspirations in women to be change makers at the national level by joining politics. Don't you think so?
Also, they must be encouraged to come through, because God knows now what will happen once it rolls through. What kind of power play will it hold? So what one should do as people watching this great journey unfold or begin is to ensure that the voices are heard, the right people who are influencers of any field, be it a village panchayat, be it in any kind of a medium, they should all be heard and given an equal opportunity to stand and represent and bring about a change. Because that's really the idea of governance, to help those who can't be helping themselves.
Do you think that this representation and this event will also enhance the socio-economic benefits that women in a lot of areas in our country have been deprived of?
Yes, there must be. We are already in 2026. We are a huge population and a very youthful country. So this has to be done. This must be, in fact, a priority to make sure that there is equal representation of women in most aspects of all professions. Now you of course have them as pilots, as in the army and the armed forces, in finance, but there should be no holding back, whether she's plowing a field or running a home or flying a jet or getting us, as Chandrayaan did, to the moon. So I would really hope that this has its own momentum, and it really it's a journey we've begun, and there's no holding us back till we are what we are meant to be, an equal race. Men and women are to be equal.
Well, you've summed it up beautifully. In fact, it's as simple as it gets. Reena, appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, let me also rope in Kiran Juneja, Bollywood actress at this point in time. Kiran Juneja ji, thank you for speaking with us. I hope you can hear me. Kiran Juneja, are you there with us?
Yes, I'm there.
All right, thank you, ma'am, for joining us. Simple question to begin with, ma'am. What does this bill mean to you, and 33% reservation for women? How is it important in a country like India? Of course, keeping the historical context and the patriarchal concept in our country in mind as well.
Well, it's a step forward for sure, and that we should feel happy about. Yes, I do agree that why is it 33%? Why not 50%? But it's like you take one step and then you move to the other. So at least let's get what we are getting and be happy about it. I think we've already proved this at the panchayat level, where the women who've been elected have really done a great job and brought forward changes and improvements. So it's really enhancing the same model at a national level. And if we succeeded there at that grassroots level, I don't see why we should not succeed on a national level. We've always been a part of the society and bringing in social changes, but we've never really been a part of the political change and the political scenario of making decisions for the nation, for the country. And I'm so happy that now we will be able to participate in that area and maybe bring some very positive changes in areas like child care and child health issues. We are caretakers by nature. We are born and taught to be that, and those certain areas we will definitely be able to contribute and bring some major changes to. Today we have lawyers, everybody in every area we see women excelling. So this is also an area we will see them excel for sure.
Ma'am, do you also think that under this bill and with the momentum of this bill, policies which relate to specifically crimes against women in our country, which has been a pestering problem right from Nirbhaya to what happened in Kolkata a few years ago, it is going to find a lot of voice, it's going to find a lot of correction, and it's going to find a lot of direction as well?
Yes, I'm sure of that. But of course, again, we are 33%, going to be 33%. We will still need the support of the rest, with us, to be with us, to agree with us, and to think like us, to be able to implement all these changes.
Ma'am, there's still other problems which, in fact, trouble the women folk in our country. The sex ratio in many regions, several parts of our country is dismal, for the lack of a better word. There's pure nutrition levels amongst women in our country as well. There is low participation in workforce, be it public or private. How do you think this is going to be a game changer? This bill is going to be a game changer.
If we bring some policy changes and if we encourage women in certain ways by giving incentives, which we are already giving, Modi ji is actually doing without having brought this change. He is already doing a lot for the women. I think, Beti Padhao is a great incentive that he started, So if you encourage women to get educated, to stand in the front line, to be able to assert, and like I said, we are only 50% of the population. The rest of the 50% is men. And not that I have to say anything against them, but I'm saying we need to walk with them. They need to rather walk with us in this journey for us to succeed. They have to also say, yes, the policies need to be made, they need to be brought forward. And these kind of crimes need to have very, very strict punishments, which sort of deter people from committing them.
Ma'am, last question before we let you go. You're right that 33% is still low, but do you also agree that India has also been a first when it comes to, giving platform to our women folk? If you talk about Indira Gandhi, if you talk about Mamata Banerjee, if you talk about, the president of India, former president of India, India has been a first when it comes to a lot of this inclusivity. But still, if there is an effort being made to improve that, that should be hailed.
Yeah, it's just that the number has been very low of women participating, and that's what we're trying to achieve now. And of course, not to say that we have proved in the past that women have been great leaders and successful. So therefore, we are already equipped for it, and I'm hoping that this change will bring in some more political leaders, some more MPs, and some more people working on every legislative level. Women I'm talking about, who bring positive changes in the system.
Ma'am, appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you. All right, also joining us at this point in time is Nirmal Kaur, former DGP, Jharkhand. Nirmal ji, appreciate you joining us. Ma'am, your reactions to the women's bill, and how is it likely to be a game changer for all and one women in India?
It is a very, very important thing. I think it's a very important milestone in the history of, empowerment of women, women's bill. And women are definitely, they are required in our social sphere, in our community, in many outside roles. When they come out, they bring their own point of view. Now we'll have at least 1/3 of our, at least, maybe more, minimum 1/3 of our legislators will be women. So they bring their own point of view. They, like in our culture, the Sanatan culture, the original Indian culture, women have been always equal, and in fact more than equal. You see so many women, wise women have been there, Rishikas have been there. Then, women have done a lot. At some point, home and hearth became their sole preoccupation. But, ever since now, the generations, at least now it's the second and third or fourth generation which is coming out, and they have proved themselves. Not only have they proved themselves, they excelled, and they have made this path for the next generation of women to come, and they've made it much easier for the next generation to come. And it's really a glorious thing to have women participating in all spheres of life: political, economic, social, legislatures, everywhere, judiciary. I mean, you name it. It's just that, like even our gods are not complete without their consorts. If we say Shiv and we don't say Parvati, Ram, Sita, you'll always see that even our gods have, they are incomplete without the feminine energy. So feminine and masculine both are required in all spheres of life. And it's very good, I think now we'll have perhaps better laws and also maybe better debating on laws. Many new dimensions women will bring, dimensions of thought, dimensions of perception, of belief, of action to the lawmaking and to the executive processes, to our executive, which is a very very welcome step. And it is, I think it's a glorious thing for women to happen, and all of us are very very encouraged. But the old problems remain somehow. You talked of patriarchy some time ago. It prevails. Even today you have feticide, infanticide. Maybe there's I would say feticide sizes shrunk anymore, though every ultrasound will have a huge notice saying that this is under this act, prenatal sex determination is banned here, we don't do it. But lots of clinics are still doing it. So, and they kind of offer a package. I've seen in many places, even in Delhi I've seen. They'll have that huge board there, but then somebody who already has a daughter doesn't want a second daughter, because these days people don't have many children. They go there and say, we give you a 50,000 package. And the 50,000 package is what? You will determine the sex of the fetus for you, and should it be a female, we'll abort it also for you. It's like, it's like those deals you have, the sales and things like that. And I'm sure, many a times, because you've sold a package, even if it, what is there to see that if it is a male fetus, they are not aborting it? Because for them, it's purely a commercial activity, something to be made profits out of. And this is happening ekdam dhadalle se ho raha hai. It's not that it's few and far between. Even the law is there, implementation is there, the police and the other authorities do it. But the ethics of our doctors and, these clinics are far, far, from what is required. We already had the 73rd Amendment, in which we gave 1/3 of our village panchayats, sarpanch, and block level and the Jilla level, district level, 1/3 of those, we gave reservation, 1/3 reservation for them, 33% for reservation for women. And that has borne fruit. But I would say even today we see that Sarpanch Pati, the male is the, Sarpanch Pati is the, because it's a reserved seat, the woman contacts. Suppose Shobha Devi is the Sarpanch. But Shobha Devi's husband Tarunji is actually the de facto Sarpanch. And that is happening both at block level also, not only village, block and Jilla level also. The real power vests in the man of the house. It will be husband, when you call it Sarpanch Pati or whatever Pati, or it can even be a father-in-law or some male member of the house who's seen as adult, senior, and the patriarch of the house. He really vests the power. Women तो वो भी घूंघट लगा के आज भी कहीं बैठती हैं. पहले से कम हुआ है. Initially we saw a lot more of it. But I have, even in places like Rajasthan, if you go, वो नीचे जमीन पे बैठी होगी, the woman घूंघट लगा के, और साथ में वो table chair पे बैठा होगा. The husband is sitting there, or the father-in-law, whoever is the de facto sarpanch is sitting there. So giving reservation, unless the spirit is implemented, giving it in word is not enough. You have to implement the spirit of the legislation, and you have to really bring out women. So, I think Madam Kiran Juneja before me, our lovely lady, she mentioned that it should be 50%. I think even if in spirit you can get 33%, or even I would say 30% or 25%, that is really a big achievement, because that itself, once you have that 30%, 33%, the critical mass is gained. And then automatically, the universal processes, the process of change take over, and then you don't have to worry about it. But the sad part is that this 33% has to be implemented in spirit, not the way we are seeing our Sarpanch thing happening, or the reservations which were given by 73rd Amendment up to the district level. They have, I would say, not really, I would say at least in half the cases, or even in 60-70% of the cases, it's the male member, it's the male relative, be it husband or father-in-law or whoever. He is really wielding the authority, not the woman. She doesn't go out, she doesn't he's meeting the Tekadars, he's meeting the SDO, he's meeting the executive, he's meeting the BDO. That is what is happening. Women are not really there in the public sphere. They're not going out, with the result that, it's a mockery of this reservation, if you make it happen like that, but that is happening in our country. So I would say the reservation without our will to implement it. Right. If the society is not ready to implement it, if the society is not, the law alone cannot change. The spirit has to be implemented only by our community and our society.
Fair enough, ma'am. I appreciate your thoughts. Thank you so much for joining us. Also with us is Dr. Sunita Godara, Asian marathon champion. Dr. Sunita, appreciate you being here with us. What do you make of this bill? You've heard so much from some of the earlier panelists as well. Some of them have said that 33% is not enough. Some of them have also said that 33% should not only be in spirit, it should also be in seriousness as well as application as well. What are your thoughts, ma'am?
I would like to say better late than never. And secondly, this should have been done in 1950 when the reservation for ST started. That time itself, the women reservation in parliament should have been there. But now we can say there durastad. At least it is a good step in the proper direction. And if it is implemented with the spirit for what this reservation is, because the reservation concept is, the definition is the protect the lowest of the low. And like we have some child reservations, we have there are many rules for child protection, women protection. Same way in parliament, we have to have female domination. With 33%, it will be domination only, because now, see, women will feel safe when there are 5-6 among 10-15 male. They feel more safe, they have more voice, they can speak out. Otherwise, 1 or 2 females in the parliament, they can't do anything, and they can't really force the policy matters or the decision making. So this 33% at least is a good step. Only thing is the opposition lobby should also support the bill, then only it will be implemented, it will come in the light of the day. So let's hope for the best. And as far as in my field, in marathon, 1967, till 1967, women were not allowed to do full marathon 42 kilometers. The male-dominated society used to think that women can't do that. And in 1984 in Olympics, it started for the first time. So this discrimination is, since then. And at least now they are thinking of reservation. It's a good step.
Fair enough, ma'am. Appreciate you joining us. And thank you so much for your time. All right. We've run out of time. We're taking a short break. Be right back.